Let's start the podcast off with a nice little recording voice memo from a special Cake Radio listener.
I just took a shit and made that bitch an LLC.
Well, yes. Happy Thanksgiving weekend if you even celebrate, and if it's just a normal day for y'all. Enjoy a very special episode of the Cake Radio podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to give you guys a special double feature bonus episode for the podcast because are not currently subscribed to the ZCN Ticket channel. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this video and enjoy this podcast. Be sure to give it a like and be sure to rate it positively on your favorite podcast platforms because we are not only available on YouTube but on almost everywhere you stream podcasts. So be sure to search Cake Radio by CakeDive and stream anywhere you stream podcasts. So the last episode we were talking about the drama between Nicholas Cantu or Junkie Janker and Dream. And back when I recorded that episode, I actually said that I actually recorded that last Saturday, and I actually put in the video in my recording that I was recording it around that time, and I was not sure if actually it was not Saturday, it was Sunday. I recorded it that weekend, and I said that I was recording it then. If there's any updates that have happened, we will discuss in the comments, or I'll update you guys later. And there have in fact been updates. So Dream originally said that he was not going to be talking about the situation anymore, and on TikTok, he has actually been doing numerous videos talking about the situation in the back of an Uber car, which kind of adds to the point that I was talking about in that last episode, where I was talking about how it's very obvious. It's very obvious to everybody that Dream doesn't like the fact that he's being hated. He doesn't like the fact that he's being dragged through the mud. He doesn't like the fact that he's being criticized, period. And the fact that everyone in the public, regardless of if they hate him or not, know that, if they, go in and drag him, if they're regardless of if they like genuinely have issues with the allegations that have actually been launched towards him, or they just simply hate that man for what he is, really going and continuing to make the situation worse. Because honestly, if he said nothing, if Dream said nothing, if he didn't even post the video, if he said nothing about the situation and just let Nick just beef and go at it with the parody Dream account, I think that there would have still been memes and stuff like that, but I think it would have been a lot less and it would have died down because Dream wouldn't have acknowledged it. It would have just been this parody account. You see that it's kind of something that has been done with actors and art and like musicians and like other content creators, that when beef and drama occurs, usually the smart thing to do, unless it's something that's like a major allegation that you have to answer to, realize that it does not make sense to be arguing with people on the internet. Don't acknowledge it because it makes no sense. But the moment that, and if they do have to acknowledge it, it's when it gets too much or when it's really getting weird. The situation needs to be like handled and put to rest. Those situations make sense. But when it's with artists like Dream, who, as I said before, very clearly is bothered by the negative press that he gets, but also refuses to like better himself as a person, it's not gonna stop. I mean, because it's obvious that Dream is going to continue doing this. The criticism and the hate that he gets, he sees it as one on the same coin, and he kind of sees it as just people hating him because he's just big and popular. That's not it. We all know that's not it. Yes, there's haters. People like to be mean. Yes, people are haters. But so what? Like, there are actual allegations that have been mounted towards him that he has either answered to and either, confirmed or denied, or he just kind of keeps playing around and kind of like bringing it up without acknowledging, whether it's true or not, whether it actually holds weight. And the other piece of info that has been brought up in this situation is allegedly there has been a video going around of Dream making a audible noise on a Snapchat video when interacting with someone who is under the age of 18. There has been a tweet out from, allegedly from Dream's private account, basically trying to talk about the situation. I can't really discuss it too much further because, again, it's just allegations. Allegedly this has happened, and allegedly, he's discussing this on his private Twitter. That being said, Dream definitely has a record. He has a colorful history, and I don't think anyone would be surprised if this ended up being true. And my question for the public, my question for those who are listening is, how much is too much? How long is it going to take before people are like, okay, we're done with the Dream. We're going to cancel him or deplatform him. When does it become too much for us to kind of sit here and make this happen? Because the issue is Dream, this is going to be very crazy when you guys hear me say this. Dream is kind of like white people's Chris Brown, like YouTube's Chris Brown almost. Walk with me here. Chris Brown, physically attacked Rihanna, and he had his team go forward and kind of do the work that has kind of now been a staple for a lot of people who have been hit in controversy, which is, one, paint the accuser out to be a liar, and two, say that they were young and that they made a mistake and that they should be given another chance. And Chris Brown has in fact been given numerous times to have that second chance. And every time he's been given that second chance, there's always a new controversy that pops up, something that is just as bad as the last. And it's not that, and the other thing is that he's not making art. He's not making content or media. He's not putting stuff out into the world that is truly groundbreaking, truly world shaking. With Chris Brown specifically, he's been making the same song since 2012. So the fact that he has kind of been around, kind of posting stories and doing interviews and stuff, being erratic, saying that people haven't tried giving him a chance because of what happened, it is very telling that he doesn't think he's done anything wrong, and it's very telling that he has not grown as a person. The exact same thing is happening to Dream. Granted, it's not the exact same situations, of course, but same reactions, same behavior, same sporadicness. Dream has had numerous allegations towards him, and he has answered to some. He has actually said that he has done some of these allegations, and for others he said he hasn't. And with that regard, because he is, very big on the platform and very respected, people were willing to give him, the benefit of the doubt. People were willing to give him a chance. The other thing is, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I think that if Dream's face reveal was more well received than it actually was, I think that these conversations that we're having right now would be swept under the rug. I think that if Dream's face reveal happened and he was very, very, very handsome, very undisputably conventionally attractive to people, people would have absolutely swipe a lot of the things that he has done or allegedly have done under the rug. And these discussions wouldn't be happening. People would be saying, oh, you're too hard on him, you guys are just haters. That conversation would be happening. But because the face reveal was so overhyped, and because he is a very mid-looking white dude, a lot of people were like, oh, he's ugly, or oh, he's alright, and After that, he did the Snapchat post in which he was being very cringy. He was giving Shane Dawson back when he was like popular and popping in the thing before people recognized how problematic he was. And people were like, oh, he's like very cringy. He's very weird. Very strange. The fact that that did a lot of damage to his PR is like hilarious in certain cases. And it's the fact that he continues to add more like fuel to the fire, more fuel to like the allegations, stuff like that. If he was just kind of like, it's the fact that like he could be quiet and a lot of these things could also be minimized as well, but the fact that he kind of keeps bringing up these situations, and he either like out of nowhere just acknowledges, oh, I did this, or oh, I didn't do this, without any course of action, without being like, oh, but I've been working on myself to like improve, or even if this isn't true, like here is proof, here is like groundbreaking work that I've done to like to make sure that I am like of good moral standing. Because that's not happening, people have always been looking at him crazy, and the haters are still getting that fuel. So I think that it was really well done. The cast was really great. I really enjoyed Rachel Zegler. Is it Ziegler or Zegler? I'll say Ziegler. Rachel Ziegler did a really good job as Lucy Gray. Tom Bliff did a good job as Snow. And I really liked the performances of like the players. Viola Davis did a great job as one of the core villains in this film as well. There was a lot of, carefulness and like precision when it came to how they connected this to the other films, both visually and, how it was tied to like the books and stuff like that. I think that it was really well done. I also really like the costume design here, because that also has played a key factor in a lot of like the connections too, if you noticed. So I will give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's up there. If honestly, let me give you all my ranking of the movies. Don't jump me, but I think it's from best to worst, Catching Fire, Mockingjay Part 2. Then I'll say it's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know. I just really didn't. I thought it was slow. I should rewatch it and give a updated opinion on it, because it's definitely been a minute since I've watched it. But I remember, watching it and feeling like it was very slow, and it wasn't as like. I remember not enjoying it as much as I've done Catching Fire. But mind you, Catching Fire was like my first entrance into the franchise, period. When I watched Catching Fire, that was like my first entrance into the franchise when I was reading them when I was younger, when I was a kid. So those are my thoughts. I'm keeping it non-spoiler because I know that, I've done a couple of movie reviews, and I know like a lot of people kind of stay away. They kind of stay clear from my reviews because they think that um that I'm just dropping spoilers. I love to talk spoilers, so if you guys want me to do, a spoiler related episode, maybe I could, drop in the comments maybe, or I'll probably circle back and do some. But I'm gonna keep this one non spoiler this time, because I know a lot of my homegirls are a little bit nervous about that, because remember when I did the Marvels review, a lot of people actually stayed clear because they weren't sure if I was reviewing it with spoilers in mind. And what I usually do with my movie reviews is I do a non-spoiler review first, and then I warn you when I get into spoilers, and I review it with spoilers. Speaking of that Marvel's review, that was the first episode that we did on ZCN Ticket, and the Marvel fanboys were not happy with the fact that I said that movie was good. There was so many people. It might end up being one of the most disliked videos on the ZCN Ticket channel. And it's purely because like people just didn't like the fact that I was positively talking about the Marvels. Mind you, a lot of those people who were disliking it did not watch the episode or listen to the episode all the way full, because one, I did give a couple of whacks to the Marvels. There are some things that could have been improved. I also gave a couple bit of whacks to the Marvel cinematic universe, because there's a lot of issues there in terms of quality that needs to be resolved. I think we all know this. But the fact that I was just like, oh, this movie is good, this movie was all right, this movie was camp, it was a little bit fun, people were starting to cut up. But listen, I keep it. This is the Cake Radio podcast by CakeDive, of course. I like to keep it real, like to keep it authentic. I don't plan on lying to my viewers in any type of way, with my opinions, of my thoughts on film, my thoughts on pop culture, whatever I'm talking about. I want to keep it honest with my audience. So wherever I feel about a movie, wherever I feel about a topic, you guys are going to get that honest opinion. And the only edits that can be made is if I'm trying to get that YouTube monetization and trying to keep my episode up so I'm not cussing or being very extra in terms of my presentation, you know? So, or, I avoid tricky, nasty, difficult topics, obviously. So I definitely want what I would say to those who weren't feeling that review, maybe watch the film and form your own opinion. Obviously, I'm just one dude on the internet who's talking about, my thoughts on the movie. You obviously don't have to care about my opinion. I'm just giving it out there. So, yeah. Definitely, I thought it was fun. I like the beat. So, yeah. But, what else is there to talk about? Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is out on Netflix. I haven't seen it. I have seen clips. I've seen a dozen clips. And, ooh, Lucas Lee is very fine. Like, it's kind of crazy for me to say because that's a whole fictional character. But, like, ooh, buff men. Ooh, like, they kind of did something really good there. They kind of cooked Ryan O'Malley and everyone involved in the comics and this TV show. Ooh, y'all kind of cooked with that man right there. I'm just saying. Just playing, but I'm saying. That being said, with the clips that I've seen of the show so far, from what I've heard from, my friends who've actually already seen it, I've heard a lot of great things. It looks really good. I definitely want to go ahead and see it eventually for sure. Before I get completely spoiled, because it's getting a little bit risky out here. One thing about y'all, I try to be cautious about spoilers, but y'all just be dropping spoilers just left and right. Like, whoa. Like, the show hasn't been out for a week yet, and I'm already seeing y'all just drop stuff. Like, what happened to, like, decorum? What happened to, like, the wait period? What happened to, like, warnings? Y'all just kind of dropping stuff because y'all don't care anymore. And we need to start giving people the job applications because that's not how we do things around here. I know where you do things where you're from, but over here, we don't do that over here. Okay? I don't have anything else to discuss. So I'm gonna wrap the episode up here. Again, let me plug something. This is if you're on YouTube, you're watching this and listening to this on the ZCN Ticket YouTube channel. I have a short film that's been out for about a month now. It's called Shriek. It's a horror parody comedy in the vein of Scary Movie that has been out for a month. I really recommend that you guys go ahead and support that. Me and my cast, I directed it by the way, but me and my cast have done a great job making sure that was like a really enjoyable movie. I was so happy that cast came forward and made one of my dreams of making something that paid homage to the Scary Movie films come to life. And I'd love to make more. So if you guys could, be sure to support it. Be sure to share, this podcast and share a lot of the other content that ZCN Ticket and that I do with your friends and family and loved ones. And that's it for me. Yeah. So be sure to, like, subscribe, forms, share with your friends. And yeah. Okay, guys, this has been a Cake Radio podcast episode, ZCN Ticket production. And don't forget to